Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the JJ Unplugged Show. I'm Jake.
And I'm Jenny.
And today, Jennifer has prepared...
Nothing.
JJ Unplugged Show.
What's new? What has happened recently?
I mean, our last podcast was all around ADHD, neurodivergency, I suppose, and potential for that. And yeah, since then I was diagnosed. I went through all the rigmarole and was diagnosed with, I don't know why I'm doing this with my hands right now. It's given tism. Diagnosed with severe combined type ADHD.
Severe combined type buddies! Yay!
Oh, yeah. It's been interesting, but it's been a nice process. Like, I know talking to you, you kind of went through like your own little process. You go through like a little grieving process, like disbelief, kind of a bit of anger. Things could have been easier, all that kind of stuff. And then like the acceptance and forgiveness as well. Forgiveness has been a nice stage. I have a lot more patience for myself than before. So the diagnosis, I suppose, was worth it for that alone. Do you know? It looks better on.
I do know very well.
Yeah.
But tell me about your process.
As in going through it, or?
Tell me about... So we were talking about you know, being wild and then filling out some tests. And also, what else was there? We were also talking about like sending TikToks to one another and so on. But like you were constantly in denial.
Yeah.
You know, like in Egypt.
Yeah. That river was running... It ran wide and deep.
It ran, yeah. Ran away.
Yeah, I think it's really funny though, because like my partner would have turned around several stages and said, Jen, I could have told you this already. Well, and I'm like, no, like I'm not going to listen to you. He just like, he loves that though. He's like, do you believe me now, kind of thing. Like, I won't take his advice first. He's so offended by it, and I'm like, I love you. But yeah, I think there was a whole disbelief even throughout the whole process, even in the later stages, like in the psychologist review meeting. All the information that I had going in to like meet a mental health nurse, I had like a whole 2 A4 page documents like of things that I did, habits that I had, or traits that I was very much aware of, and things that I wouldn't have even taken as signs or traits of it. And yeah, I went in with that, and the mental health nurse, she was very funny. She was like, I don't think I've ever had anybody come into a meeting this prepared before. Like, she was like, wow, you have some really solid examples here. And I was like, oh, really? Like, I still felt like I didn't, like, there was still that disbelief. Like, it was really funny. And she was like, yeah, no, I highly recommend you go through for the assessment stages because of the information you're telling me here. It's very likely that there's a combined type here. I can't say that offhand, but there's very likely, like strong likelihood. Then I went on to meet the psychologist. And it was all done within like 4 weeks, which was actually nice. I was meant to meet the psychologist and she cancelled. And I had to reschedule it, which was a nightmare for me in my head because I was like, I just want this done. But when I met her, even at the end of the assessments, she had said to me, yeah, it's very likely that you have this combined type, like ADHD. I can see a combination here, but I'll do the whole analysis and come back to you. And yeah, she came back with the word severe in front of it, and I was like, thank you for that.
I'm actually really happy that one of them was rescheduled because I remember you invited me to share my thoughts and my observations.
Yeah.
And I remember initially when it was booked, I was supposed to be in the office, and then I would have had to change rooms like multiple times, and then also you were kind of worried that, you know, so nobody else hears what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of like godsend, to be honest.
It was a nice universal moment of not today, but it will happen, just not today. And I was just like, oh, for fuck's sake, like, have to reschedule this, because I booked like sick time for this, even though like I was online on my laptop anyway. But yeah, no, I'm glad that they moved it in the end to the week after, because it gave me time to process as well, you know. And I also got to process with my college therapist, you know, as well, which was nice, because she's been a therapist for 30 plus years and she doesn't actually have that much background when it comes to neurodivergency. And she had no idea. Like, I told her the company that I use, like ADHD Now, they're a good company. No sponsors. They're a great company, like, and everything's very efficient. But I had told her about that, and she was like, "No, I've never heard of it." I said, "Yeah, look, it's private. I didn't have to go through my GP. I just did this, this, and this." And she was like, "Oh, great." She later came back to me and told me that one of her clients went on to get diagnosed, and she was able to hand them hand them in a session with them. And she was like, "So thank you so much for that." And I was like, wow, like, look at that. Being in a session with me, I gave her information. She was able to help another individual on that journey. And I'd like to think as well, like, my therapist is great, you know, she's like in her 60s, and she's kick-ass. Like, she's really funny. Like, when I go into sessions where she's real like, "I'm gonna challenge you here," and I'm like, "Yeah, fight me," like. And I love her. Like, she's really peppy and she's real fighty. But what was my point here? There was a point. What was my point?
Something about...
Oh, yeah. She'll go on and she'll learn new things, though. She's very, like... What's the word I'd use? Like, she would have been real old school in her approach to being a therapist. Like, not like that, like, Freudian, you know, tell me how you feel about that. Not that kind of vibe, but she is very much bodily. Like, she'll go into the body. She'll watch how you are, and she will psychoanalyze. She's watching everything that you're doing. And if you're intellectualizing an emotion, she'll stop and she'll go, "I'm just going to check in there. What's going on for you right now?" And you're like, "Oh, fuck off." Because she knows, she can see it. So it can be easy to do that with the average neurotypical person. But when you're neurodivergent, like, how are you going to do that with an autistic person, you know? And it's teaching her things as well, so she'll learn. So yeah, I got a lot out of that process and having that break, but also having her alongside me during that. And even with the course, like, I'm studying obviously right now to be a therapist. So this is great, and it means I'm going to help individuals in the future, and I'm really excited about that, you know?
Are you maybe considering that being your specialty?
So this is going to sound terrible, but I do not want to, like, I already have it in my mind. I don't want to work with children. And I say that because I just feel like it would be painful.
But why would you need to work with children?
So that would be a specialty, is actually working with adolescents. You would go and train in that specific thing. You would be trained, like, while I'm studying to be a therapist right now, an integrative one, I'm going to learn loads of different methodologies and things to use and approaches. But afterwards, I'd have to go on and also specialize in specific things. So I could be a couples therapist. I could be an individual one-to-one. I could be a children's therapist. I could go into play therapy, but I'd have to go on and study in that. I need to get specific things for that. Do you know what I mean? So I've already made my mind up on that, which is terrible. Like, it's first year and I'm like, nope. But I had a lecturer who is actually, she works mostly with children, and it's just, it sounds horrifically hard to do that. And I just feel like I'd rather communicate with adults and couples. Couples is my vibe. I really want to go into couples therapy. That's what I've always wanted to do. And I'd love to dabble in sex therapy as well. Like a sex therapist vibe. So a bit of the both of them. Yeah, I think neurodivergent clientele will definitely be a thing in the future as well. So I'm excited about that. Yeah.
I will have free therapy sessions. No, I won't.
No, you're a cancer. You give everyone therapy. You don't receive.
I can't be fixed. Unless I fix it myself.
Yeah, well. People that have to get up, like climb up onto that wall that you've built to actually hop over that as well, you know. That's something I've learned about you cancers. The walls are high, you know. But I don't mind. This is the thing I've learned as well. Like anybody that I know that's a cancer as well, like I've learned that patience is the main thing with you guys. It's like, oh, I need to learn. You need to build trust before you actually open up to somebody. It's not just like, here I am, because it's like, no, I've been burned too much with that in the past. No.
And then you start seeing all the patterns. But I also wanted to say, you know, China and Cancer both start with the same letter and both have a great wall.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. That's the first dad joke for the day.
I think it's the second one. The first one was just very, very poor.
We'll ignore it.
Well, you clearly did already.
Yeah.
I had other questions. So you went through all of the procedure and so on. Mm-hmm. I know that you haven't decided what like next steps you're going to take, whether that's going to be cognitive behavioral therapy.
That's part of
or
it.
anything.
Yeah.
But tell me more about what are some of the emotions and feelings and thoughts that you went through like a week and 2 weeks after you got your diagnosis, because I remember for the first day you were like, oh yeah, whatever, and then later and later on I started noticing that you're just really starting to kind of grieve it. That's how it looked to me.
Yeah, that's it. Like after I got the diagnosis, I kind of went down to my mum and I was like, yeah, like I just got diagnosed there and I have severe combined type ADHD. And she was so nonchalant about it. And it really upset me. I was just like, it's like I don't know, I don't even know if it's like I wanted to have a moment to feel like a victim or I just wanted her to acknowledge that, you know, this is something that I've struggled with my whole life, but I've masked it as best I could up until my 30s where I just went off the fucking wall. And I used to be able to mask so well. And I definitely did as a child. And it was just people pleaser energy, like falling into that of, oh, I have to be the good one. So yeah, I think while I got the diagnosis, I was upset that I didn't get a result or response out of my mum. I knew I wouldn't get one from my dad. He's not like, he just wouldn't even look at it. He'd be like, no, whatever, you're grand kind of thing, you know. And that was what my mum said. That's why I didn't bring her in with the psychologist, because my mum's thought process would be, she was grand, like as a child, she was great. She's, you know, Jennifer's an overachiever. And I'm like, why though? Why am I an overachiever though? Like, that's not normal. And I was brought up to be like, oh yeah, you're just an overachiever. That's fine. And people will be trying to point out to me that like I'm doing the most. And I'd be like, 3 jobs is normal. Like, so at the start, I definitely just kind of got on. But I told my partner and he was like, how do you feel? And I was like, relieved. I feel relieved that there's an answer now. Mm-hmm. Because I always felt like there was something wrong with me. I wasn't smart enough. I didn't pick things up. I didn't, like, verbal instructions were always very, very hard for me. And I always had to push through. I have severe anxiety around like public speaking. I've always had that, but I've always masked it really well. Like I went to like performing arts school and used to recite monologues in front of stages of people, like hundreds of people. Whereas now if I'm on a meeting with 3 people, I'm like, oh, I have to talk. Like, and it's my heart will literally be like at 900 beats per minute. And I'm like, this is so uncomfortable. Or if I go into a meeting where I think, oh, something could go wrong here, or I could be scolded, I go into emotional dysregulation very, very fast. I can spiral very fast. But what was nice for me as I was kind of going through the process, even now, like I know we're kind of several weeks past it, I will look back on conversations that I've had that I would have reacted very strongly to in a negative sense. I'll look at it now and I'll think, Jesus, I really overreacted there. There was nothing to react about. Why did I get so dysregulated by that? Because I go to emotions straight away and it's very hard for me to stay logical. But if I stay logical, especially like it's in certain circumstances, I would, like if I was having a disagreement with my partner, I would go straight into like ice cold logic and I won't give emotion. But that's coming from a place of I'm not going to give you anything and I'm not going to be hurt. So it's protective. Yeah, it's protective mode. And when you're used to getting a nice, like warm version of me and then you get that, it's kind of given like, are you really a Gemini secretly? Because what the fuck is that? Like split personality? Do you know? It's nice though. There's learning moments. I like looking back and seeing how I reacted to things and how I could have reacted better, which is why I find AI very helpful for me. When somebody writes to me and I read it and I'm in my emotions, depending on where I am in my cycle, love being a woman. But I'm like, I can't respond to this. Or if I respond to it, my thoughts are all scrambled. I need this to come out professionally. So I'll use that to help me structure it. I'll look at how it's structured and then I'll add my little bits into it then. And then I'll send something on, whether it's an email or whatever.
And delete all the dashes and emojis.
Like, don't leave them in.
Just don't.
Just don't. Don't do it.
They're ruined for everyone. I know we use them in books, but like just...
No, I never use them now. Out of spite, I'm like, just don't. But yeah, a lot of emotions, definitely sadness. I definitely did go through a grieving stage of being sad about it. Like, wow, like life could have been so different if I had of, you know, had this information. But, you know, it's harder. It's so much harder. And even the psychologist said this. She was like, it's so much harder to diagnose women because they internalize so much and they mask so well. And you know, because they internalize and men externalize, it's easier to pick up in men, and it's always been the case. So my brother got tested when he was young and he was wild and I never got tested. And then I think my younger sister might have. I'm not sure on that one, but I'm convinced my sister actually does have it because she has the attention span of a goldfish. I love her to bits, but Jesus Christ, trying to sit there with her, you're like, but my mum has it as well. My mum has this habit of cutting across you when you're talking about something. And there's so many traits now that I've been diagnosed, or if you've pointed something out that I do that I never knew I did, now I'm painfully aware of what I do. And I'm like, Jennifer, don't cut across him, shut the fuck up. My mum does it. And I'm like, is this where this is coming from? You know, because in my dad's mind, he's perfect. I'm like, well, that's my mum.
Well, something interesting that I just recently learned is that ADHD usually comes from the mother's side.
It's my mum. It's definitely my mum.
Autism usually comes from the father's side. Yeah, if they're both in the family, in my case, that is very obvious.
Yeah. It's my mum has things like she has a specific fork, right? And she has to do things very specifically. And when I was growing up, she had like not severe, but severe OCD. Yeah, it was severe OCD. I'm not going to like kind of sugarcoat that one. She was very meticulous about things to the point that I grew up thinking that was normal. But like now I'm like, oh, that's not normal.
But you can't sugarcoat it with her special fork.
Like, I know. And because, you know what the funny thing about my mom is, when I start pointing things out to her, she goes out of her way to go against her normal routine to try prove to me that she doesn't have it. And
for a while.
And I'm like, we know that's your fork. Like, I'm not going to eat with your fork because that's your fork. You've said it to me now. I'm going to respect the boundary. But like, when I pointed that out to her, I was like, oh, my friend Jake, and she's like, no. That's not, no. And you can see it in her. It's like, I'm going to not use that out of spite now. And I'm like, that's where I get that from. You know? So, yeah. It's been a journey. You know?
How far do you think you're along on that journey?
I'm definitely in a nice forgiveness stage. I'm very much more aware of things. And I'm very... like in my own little healing journey, I'm very much aware of my triggers more so now. I'm aware of slowing down as well. When I feel myself speed back up, I'm like, why are we doing that? And then I'll slow myself back down. I've created a lot of kind of things in my own mind that bring me back down. I might fall out of habit, but I'll get back into it quicker than I would have before. Yeah. And I'll be learning CBT anyway because of the degree. So that's something that I can I can delve in and out of anyway. And if I really wanted to, I could probably go through that even with my partner, because he would be training it too if I wanted. But like, I'm in the right space that like I'm in with a college therapist because I have to do therapy hours. So I'm being heard and I'm processing things on my level, but also I have soundboards and I have a great support system in the people that I have in my life. I don't have a lot of people, but I have, it's quality over quantity for me now, you know? Not that wasn't ever the case, but like it's more now than it ever was. I'm like quality in people over quantity.
I mean, you always have had so many people around you, and you always were. I remember that you were always so busy, always giving away your time, trying to meet people. And then just recently, for like, I don't know, the past year or so, you've really started listening to yourself, saving your energy and your time, and not just giving it to every single person who asks.
Oh God, yeah. Boundaries, like the boundaries are coming in strong, and I'm learning them through a multitude of things. One, the course, but also, the diagnosis. And I'm like, oh, that's a people pleaser thing, or oh, you don't like saying no because of this or whatever. So now, instead of always feeling like I need to give an answer or rushing to do things, I've slowed myself down. Like, for instance, in work this evening, I got a message from my manager to say, oh, can you do this thing? And normal version of me would be like, yeah, I'll do it right away. And instead I stopped and went, yeah, I'll send that to you tomorrow. And I was like, oh, it's a win. A win is a win. A win is a win. Yeah. It's good. It's good.
I'm kind of forcing myself to learn boundaries by, and I don't know if this is sadistic or whatever, but I have work email and work chat on my phone now again, so that I see what comes in, and I have to very intentionally decide not to look at it.
Yeah.
And
that's like me with Slack on my phone.
It didn't used to work. Like, I would, if I had email on my phone or work chat on my phone, I would just immediately check, see what's happening, reply, and so on. Now I'm basically forcing myself to, you saw it. Now sit with your emotions, especially if it's something that you didn't want to see. And you saw the subject, for example, or the first line. Yeah. You saw it. You want to look at it, but no, this is your time. I don't know whether that's right or wrong, but I feel like I'm more in control, and even I'm kind of allowing myself to go through all of the emotions without shutting them off, but in a very, very short time frame, and I can move on.
That's really good. That's really, really good. Like, you're kind of building up tolerance as well to almost like, it's not like you're saying no to these people, you're saying no to the response that you would normally give. Yeah, that's really, really good. This see, I love that you were like, did you use the word sadistic there?
Yeah.
Yeah. I used this word recently in therapy with my therapist because she kind of said to me around me living back at home with my parents, I kind of said, yeah, it's a healing process. I'm getting triggered a lot. I explained the triggers to her, what they were around. And she was like, how long do you see yourself, kind of being there with them? And I was like, how long is a piece of string? And I was like, yeah, but like, I need to be in these. And she was like, why? And I was like, because I need to work on myself. How can I sit across from somebody and hold space for them, and I won't even hold space for myself in my own bullshit? I was like, look, maybe it's sadistic that I'm putting myself into this. And she goes, it's something, and made this face. And I was like, okay. And she has her judgment, but it's me putting myself in the discomfort of being in the triggers. Because if I don't subject myself to those triggers and I just keep pretending that they're not there, they're going to keep coming back. Like, they're going to keep popping up through different people. It's the transference is going to happen somewhere along the way, whether it's a client that I have in front of me that reminds me of something or whatever. It's life. It could be a colleague. It could be anything. So, yeah, I think I'm doing myself a favor. So I agree with you. I think that makes sense that you're putting yourself in that space to be like, I'm uncomfortable. Sit in the discomfort. Just sit in it for a minute and be like, what am I feeling? Where am I feeling it? And then kind of go, right, okay, I've had enough of that now. And move on.
But I gotta say, medication has helped me get to this point.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Otherwise...
Spiral city.
Spiral, yeah. Like imagine, the coil in like a pen, a ballpoint pen.
Oh, God, yeah.
That's the spiral
But
only.
this is funny though, but this is the thing. Like, you're really, really good at internalizing those emotions. You internalize, I externalize around you. Whereas if I was upset and stuff like that, I probably would have externalized it a lot more growing up around family and stuff, like anger, for example, things like that. Whereas I'll externalize around you and you'll see all of that. My family wouldn't have seen that growing up, but I'm safe around you, so I'll do that. It's like when we went away and the coach, there was an issue with it, and I was calm. I was like, yeah, everything's fine. And you're so used to seeing me freak out. And I was like, it's grand. I was real in flow, vibey mode. I was like, everything will be what it is. It'll work out. And you were like, what is happening? Why are you not freaking out? And I was like, what? Are you freaking out? And you were like, yes. And I was like, are you? This is what? Because I'm so used to the externalized emotions from people that it really hit me hard. I had a moment where I was like, I'm a really bad friend. I never really stopped to think, like, what's going on internally for you?
I thought that I was so visually upset.
No, like nothing. And it's the same with my partner as well. I don't even know if this is a cancer thing or not, but you guys are really, like, it's just, there's nothing. And I'm like, whereas now I'm really good at reading him because I'm around him so much, so I'm like, something. And he's like, what? Nothing. And I'm like, no, there's fucking something.
Yeah.
And I'll know there's something wrong with him before he does, and it does his fucking head in. So yeah, I kind of get better at that now. But I've kind of even started to see that with you, where I'll go, you're bothered, but you're like, it's not going to get to me. You'll move forward. You'll push through things. You're very good at that.
But like, we don't really have a choice.
Oh, you can kick and scream and lose your shit, but you don't. You're like, I'll just go.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like at work.
I love when you pop off and you have moments. You're like, can I just rant? I'm like, yes, do it. And then it's like a minute and you're like, I'm done now. And I'm like, whereas I'm like 30 plus minutes and I'm like, rant over.
Let's just say a couple of days as well.
Like 3 weeks later, I'm over it now. It's fine. What's the next thing? You're like, a minute. I'm like, okay. You have a resilience to that. It's like, I'm done with this bullshit thing. I'll move on to the next thing. Like, so yeah, that's...
Well, but that's what I mean. If I was upset previously, if I got upset, I would be upset for like a week. Then I kept working on it and it became like a few days. Then maybe a day. Now I know what works for me. So if I am like super extremely upset, I'm going to reach out and ask for somebody to listen, and then I know that I'll be over it very quickly.
Who's your first go-to when you're that upset?
Probably you. No, ChatGPT.
I think, so this could be wrong. Do you find that you need to soundboard off it to get all your thoughts together to understand what's actually going on before you can even come and say, this is it, you'll have it all figured out anyway, but you just need to get it all out?
I need to figure things out. I would have my own suspicions, then I give all the information. And then I either get clarification,
is my
confirmation.
manager gaslighting me?
Like if I get confirmation, great, okay. Then I know I'm set. If I have, well, it's kind of sounding like something else.
But isn't that funny, that statement that you just made, that you feel like you need to validate your emotions through the situation? Like, you can't be upset unless there's a logical reason through that.
No, I can. It's more so, am I being unreasonably upset?
But like, if you're upset, you're upset.
But
I'm going to be that therapist. I'm like, if you're upset, you're upset. I don't need the logic to make complete sense for me to be upset. I felt something. Why?
At home, it's different. At home, I can get upset. I might apologize very quickly. Sometimes, like I remember some years ago, if we got in a fight, then we wouldn't really talk to each other for like a day.
Oh, okay.
And then now...
Living together.
Yeah. And then now it's like... Oh, we're roaring at each other maybe once every couple of months now, which is extremely rare when I take like a med break.
Marriage, folks.
But I very quickly understand, okay, right, so I was kind of in the wrong here, or I wouldn't say in the wrong, but
I wasn't right, but I wasn't wrong. I was in the middle.
I exploded a little too unnecessarily. And I can very quickly go apologize, like nearly immediately.
I'm working on the apology piece, because I'm a stubborn bitch, and I have learned that through my mum. My dad is the type of person, if he loses the plot, he'll come back. He's very much, and he wouldn't come and say sorry to me. It's my mum. He would never upset my mum. And if he ever does, that woman, my God, when I talk about stonewalling, that woman just goes silent. Like, she is, I don't even have words for it. But she goes into silence for, I'd imagine, a multitude of reasons. Childhood stuff. She couldn't ever kind of express emotions. She was like battered in submission. Like, there's a whole thing there. So she's very much, I go quiet when I'm upset, because that's where I used to go when I was a kid. And I used to think when she went quiet, it was to punish us, because it was painful. Because I think when you shut down your emotions to somebody like that, you're not letting them in at all. You're not even getting a look in. You're not trying to talk. I just think that it's the worst. I think it's very, like, in my mind, I always thought it's very emotionally manipulative or emotionally abusive when you stonewall someone and you shut down. But if you understand why you do it, then work on it. Don't just continue to do it and blame whatever on it. If it's a thing, work on it, you know? And I do that, and I've always done that in relationships. I think, sorry to my exes, not really. I'm sure you deserve it.
Well, they're exes for a reason.
Yeah, you didn't stay around for a reason. But yeah, I would like take it to the grave. I'd be like, I'm not apologizing. You're not getting a sorry out of me. Like, absolutely not. Whereas my current partner, I think he's probably the first, this is terrible to say at nearly 34 years of age, he's probably the first person that ever turned around and went like, no, I'm sorry. You know, I actually need to work on that.
But also,
I might have overreacted. Like,
how long was that process or that time to get to that point?
But I mean, yeah, like, we're going towards 3 years together, and it doesn't even feel like that, because time is just like, it's mad. And, you know, yeah, the start was really tough. There was definitely times where I just would like ice him out, and he'd be like, I don't, like, what's going on? And he's the type that he'll like ring me and be like, Jen, what's going on? And I'll be like, what? Nothing. Like, you're getting one word answers, and I'm like, Jennifer, stop. But now we've really like worked on things to the point that, like, if he's like, I'm terrible. I break him down with humor, and he does the same thing with me. If I'm angry, I'm like, don't make a joke. I feel like you're taking the piss out of me if you make a joke, and you're not taking me seriously. Like, you're trying to fuck with my intelligence. Like, it's all ego. Clearly it's all ego. I'm like, what? You're not taking me. It's like like, and I wouldn't mind. He's like 6 foot. So when I'm giving out, I'm looking up at him, and I'm like, you're not taking me seriously. And I probably look like yeah, you know, I'm like, yeah. And he's just like looking down at me, and he's just like, Jennifer, me. Yeah, literally. Yeah, like patting the head, like, you calm down there now, you little princess. I'm like, me. But yeah, I think.
Wait. Put your head that way, and like this. Lean forward a little more. Mm-hmm. Where is it? Okay, there we go. That's gonna be for video.
Lost my trail of thought. What was my point?
Sorry.
Oh yeah, working on communication. Yeah. Now if he's kind of having a moment, or like, you know, he's upset, it might be a case of me just being quiet and listening to him and holding space for him. And it freaks him out, because he's used to holding space for everyone else, because he's a therapist. And it freaks him out, but I'm like, I'm not trying to make it uncomfortable. I'm just giving you the space to talk and be heard and be held. And I might, he says to me, he's like, you push me. You always push me. And I'm like, do I? I don't realize. And when we first got together, I used to probe. And I didn't realize I was doing that either. It's just instinctively, I just do things. I've always been that way. Which people end up opening up to, or with him, because he was so defensive. He'd be like, what are you doing? Like, so yeah, he's quicker to accept when he's in a bad mood. I'll see it quicker than he will. And if I'm in a bad mood, I'm very quick to call it now. I'll actually say, like, I'm grumpy. I'm moody today. I'm whatever. So we're good in that. We're getting better.
That's very good. Yeah, just identifying your emotions and sharing them.
Yeah.
That is such a powerful thing that you're just basically taking power back.
Yeah.
You're not giving it to your emotions. I do that, but also I kind of want a little bit more of a reaction. So whenever I say, oh, I'm actually really overstimulated, or just don't touch me, I'm in that icky mood.
I'm touched out.
Yeah, exactly. And then all I get is, oh, okay. And,
But really you
walk
want someone
away.
to come over and go, what's wrong, babe? And like a kiss and a hug and a...
I wouldn't say that. No, it would just be exist with me in this same space
Do you
for a
say that?
while. Yes.
Okay, good.
I just want us to exist here. You can be on the other side of the couch. I'll be on this side of
Let's
the
touch
couch.
toes.
Let's just exist.
And touch toes.
Sometimes. Not always. When you're overstimulated and you just don't want anything, like you can feel teeth in your mouth. Have you ever had that?
Yeah. I can feel my teeth. I think I sent you a video on this the other day. I can feel my teeth. I changed my clothes. I washed my sheets. I did this. I can feel my teeth in my mouth. Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that. I do. Or like, you feel too hot. You feel too cold. You feel like too full. It's like it's weird, yeah. And the overstimulation thing is definitely real, and I'm so much more tuned into that as well now.
Which takes us to our sponsor. No, I'm kidding.
Light Emma mattresses. Yeah, I love that. Airy. Yeah, but that I'm. Do you know what makes me happy is that with this diagnosis, I realized that there's several things that I get very overstimulated by, or very dysregulated by, and relationships is a big one for me. Partners is a big one, and if we have any kind of conflict, I am a conflict avoider. It's not it, and I never really seen my parents having fights growing up. They didn't fight in front of us. Like, they talked all the time. Like, I'd hear them talking through the wall, like mumbling. They always talked. They still talk today. Virgos. They talk about everything and intellectualize everything. But they never fought. So I never learned to fight. And I never learned what conflict was. So like when I was growing up and my first partner, I remember going into his house and the mum and dad like shouting at each other, and I was like, oh my God, like, is everything okay? And they were like, yeah, it's fine, like, this is normal. And I was like, are they gonna like break up, or like what's going on? Oh no, let's just say they talk to each other. And I was like,
also not healthy, but
no, like, it was the other end of the fucking spectrum. And I'm not talking about autism, like, I'm talking about like, this was like, oh, here's your dinner, like, and fuck you. And I was like, okay, because I was so used to like watching my mum and dad walk everywhere holding hands. Everything was love all the time, and if they had a disagreement, you never saw it. They did everything behind closed doors, everything. So yeah, I feel like that's something that I need to still learn to do, is to actually fight in a healthy way, have conflict in a healthy way, realize that not fighting, like, I grew up thinking, oh, healthy couples don't fight. No, that's not it at all. Like, if you're not fighting, you're avoiding something, or you're people pleasing, or you're doing a multitude of things that are not healthy. In the long run, someone's not going to be happy. Someone's going to be resentful because they don't feel heard, or they don't feel seen, or they don't feel something. So yeah, that's something I'm working on at the moment, is when I'm in conflict, I don't just go to, this is another thing, and I don't know if it's ADHD, is I will always go to, if we're having a fight, oh, we're breaking up. That's it. And you've seen that in me. Like, I'll have come to you after a disagreement with my current partner, and I remember we went out for food one time in town, and I was like, well, that's it now. It's done. And I'm so black and white. I'm like, that's it. Like, I'm never talking to you again. And it takes me ages to come out of that. I get so dysregulated by that. And I wouldn't mind. That was probably one day where like I stormed off and was like, fuck you, you know? So yeah, realizing we can have a fight. And then sometimes during a fight when things are really heavy, actually having a joke is really good because it breaks that energy. And it's like, it's not that I'm not taking you seriously. It's just that I don't want to be in this energy anymore. And I think we just need to break it. Let's just break it for now. Make a joke. And we'll come back to this when we're both feeling a little bit more regulated. And we can sit down. And even if that means sitting with each other and holding each other and talking about it. Or even holding a hand. Or just being face to face where we're actually connecting on another level and saying, I was really upset when this happened. You triggered this thing in me and I know what that is now and I'm sorry and I love you and whatever else.
You're so disgusted talking about these things.
I know. Like, I have to get so much better at these things, you know, but I will do that. Like, I will do that work because I love him so much and I love what we have, you know, and I've never wanted to do the work more for me and for this person.
And it takes a very, very long time. Also, age.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, thinking about just after turning 30, every single year, I've started giving less fucks about things. Every single year.
Yeah.
And it's so great. And then I'm thinking, how awesome will I feel except the like body pain and everything else when I'm like 70?
I don't,
you know?
Do you know what's funny is in my mind, I'm like, will I live to 70? Like, I don't ever see myself in a mind going, I'll live to that age. I never think about that stuff.
You know what? I used to think or hope that, I don't really want to live past 50 or 45. You know, then you get like old and stuff. But now I really just obsessed with investing, trying to figure out all the stocks and bonds and options and everything. And since I started investing, I'm looking at the projections and like best case scenario, I can technically, when I retire, I could retire maybe earlier, which is my dream. Imagine not working until 65.
Yeah.
By then, like in like 10 years, it's going to be 67. And then in 20 years, it's going to be 70. But imagine just early retirement.
I just really want to be a little princess and not work at all. Or if I work, it's my choice. You know, like I'm
Same.
choosing to do this and I'm fulfilled by this. Like, it's not taking my energy, it's giving me energy to do these things. And it's kind of like Kim Kardashian energy. Like, you know, it's not like nobody wants to do the work anymore. It's like, oh no, I'm choosing to get up and go to the gym and train in Pilates and do whatever and then go and do whatever for the day. But it's not me consumed by 10 meetings in one day and I've nothing in me at the end of the day. Like, the gas tank is on empty.
Yes.
So I cannot do the things that give me joy and fulfillment.
And if you've gotten this far on the podcast, if you're listening, hit that like button, subscribe, follow, whatever buttons you have. And if you're watching a video, leave down below the little trumpet emoji and share your thoughts about what do you want to do when you get old.
Yeah. I don't know what I want to be when I'm older.
A trumpet.
I just want to be happy and healthy, you know. I suppose they're the best things. Happy and healthy, going off to retreats and living my best life.
I wouldn't mind being, what was his name? Mr. Burns from Simpsons?
In the forest. I bring you love.
No, it was, you know, the rich guy?
Yeah.
Who's like decrepit, basically.
Yeah. Oh, no. No.
But he has a lot of money, though. And he has a button.
But money doesn't make... See, this is the thing. They always go, money doesn't buy you happiness. And you're like, yeah, but I'd rather cry in a Ferrari. Like...
Or, you know, wipe my tears with dollar bills, yo.
Yeah, 100%. Like, money does make you happier to an extent. I would like to be mentally sound. and happy and have the money. Like, you know, in my life right now, I have enough money to do things that I want to do that expand my mind, expand my, you know, creativity, expand my, what's the word? I suppose my curriculum vitae. Like my mum said to me there today, is bringing her into town, and she said, you're expanding out in so many ways, doing all these different things that you're doing, that, you know, you will really kind of, you'll create so many different things that you can do. She was like, I can see you going and learning to teach Pilates at some stage. And I was like, maybe. Because I have the PT background. I'm just like, okay, perfect. Yeah, maybe I will do that. Maybe I'll be a Pilates girly.
You also got the machine. Is it unpacked?
No.
Of course.
It isn't, yeah.
Called it.
Will be. But you know what's so funny? Like, I literally got that and I told my dad.
Tell them the story. Oh my God.
Okay, so Aldi was selling Pilates reformers machines, and one of my best friends said to me, oh my God, they're selling these in Aldi on Sunday the 25th. And I was like, oh my God, I need to buy one of these. I need to have one. I've done 3 of these classes in Gory now, and they're life-changing. They're really tough, but I just need to be a Pilates girly. I'm a matcha Pilates girly. I just need to buy that machine. And I looked at the price of the actual ones online, and they're like starting like 14 plus €100. And this was €199. And I was like,
they forgot a zero.
That's insane, that cost for this machine that will be so good for you. So I put it in my phone and I was like, okay, college starts at 9. I looked at Google very briefly and seen 8 a.m. open, and that was every day except for Sunday, which was the day it was happening. Got up, set my alarm, woke up at 7, scrolled my phone, got to Aldi and sat in my car, and there was 2 cars in there. They were both men, and I was like, maybe they're just in here to do their morning shop and I'll be in there and I'll get that machine. Maybe nobody else knows about it. How wrong I was. And then it kind of came towards 5 to it, and I seen a girl pull up, and then she got out of her dad's car and then walked to the door, and I was like, okay. I wanted to walk to the door, and then I thought that made me look weird because I'm queuing for an object. Does that give me weird energy? Like when iPhones first came out and people were like, we're queuing for the night.
Some people are still doing
People
that.
did it for Yeezys outside of JD Sports all night. I'm like, okay, consumerism, go. So got to the door. Then I looked at the signpost to the side for the opening hours and realised it didn't open until 9. And I was like, oh, college starts at 9. Online, I'm going to be late. And then I went, no, I have to commit. I'm here now. I want this. And when I want something, I get it. I'm like, nah, I'm not giving in. So I queued there with this lovely teacher. I was chatting away to her, and the queue built up so much over that hour. Like, oh my God, there was about 13 people in the queue. And the girl in front of me, her sister and her mum went to Arklow Aldi, and her dad came to this one because that's how set on getting one of these machines they were. And in my head I was like, oh, you and your sister want one each. And she was like, in the end she told me, oh no, we just wanted one. Her sister got one in Arklow, got a ticket. They only had 2 machines in the whole Arklow one because obviously people that work there took them. Like, everyone knows, staff do that. And she had one, but she was still queuing at this one, and she was like, oh yeah, like I need to make sure that she has it in her hand before, like, I kind of give up on the queue. That's how set on getting this she was. And I was like, right, well, you're first, I'm second. They definitely have to have more than 2 in this one. But if they gave tickets here in Arklow, but they didn't give them here in Gory, like, what's that say? There has to be more. And there was a lot of men working in there, but they were real, like, whatever. The door opened, no one came out, and I was like, oh, it was so nonchalant. And I walked over as the door opened to the guy that was like putting stuff out and was like, oh, do you have the Pilates machines? And he was like, what? And I was like, oh, this is the energy we're dealing with. And everyone was doing that weird speedy walk but not running thing to get around to see them. And then there was like a stack of them, and I was like, there they are, perfect. There's like several of them there, I can see it. One guy came ahead that was like third, grabbed the first one. That girl like kind of fell to the side, and it was a real like elbows in, fight for your life. And I was like, I'll just grab the second one. Got mine down to the queues, and that girl didn't even end up grabbing one in the end because people were killing like each other to get them. Like, this is how, but I've seen videos on TikTok of people sitting on the whole boxes of them being like, no, this is my one. And I was like, my dad was showing me these, like,
here in Ireland.
No, in the UK.
Oh, okay.
People went ham for these, and I think Australia as well. I don't know if they were in the States. I feel like, is Aldi over there? These are global.
think so.
These are global. Like Aldi is global to an extent, or is it only Europe? Because they're definitely in Australia. I seen an Australia influencer posting about it.
What's
pros and
Trader
cons.
Joe's though? Because Trader Joe's is owned by one of them.
So they were only £150 in the UK, which is insane. Like obviously £199 in Ireland is the translation, like the conversion.
There is Aldi in the US.
So yeah, they were in the States. They were released in the UK in some shops the day before, which was really bad because these were like a marketing event. They were only to be released on the Sunday. They were put out in the Saturday evenings, and people were seen buying them and putting it online. And the people in the comments were like, I work in Aldi. How the fuck do you have one of those? That wasn't supposed to happen. This should be reported. People were losing it.
Wow.
Losing it. And then I went home, showed my dad, told my mum and dad how I got it. And they were both like, wow, like fair play to you. My dad was looking up videos online and was like, someone bought one for like €199 and sold it to someone for €700+, and they made profit off it. It's like people that went in to buy the Easy Runners. They were like, oh, they were like 700. I made $2,000 on them when I just put them straight up online, because people will pay stupid money.
But it was the same for PlayStation 5s as well.
Exactly. People will just,
crazy.
and that's why they were like one per customer, because they were like, we want to prevent this happening. But yeah, my dad still to this point now, even though it's like a week since I have it, he's like, you should sell that for like €700-800. And I'm like, Dad, no, I want it. And he's like, right. But like crazy money. But I got one, so it's fine. It's Christmas here now.
And now it's going to sit in a box for how long? Until you get your own place?
Sabbatical. No, I'd say till my sabbatical comes and I actually have space and time to just be a Pilates matcha lunchy girl. I feel.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what are we doing tomorrow? We are having matcha lattes with some croissant.
Almond croissant, a little pistachio croissant. I need to go into Fallon and Burn, have a float around, get some bits. Yeah. And also to go over for Sprout lunch. I don't know if you've been to Sprout.
I don't know whether I have or not.
It's healthy, but it's beautiful.
No, I know what it is. I just don't know whether I've had food in it or not.
It's in Kildare Outlets as well, with their Lynn store.
Never been there.
They're the two things I go. Well, no, three things. I go to Van for my Vans. I go to Lint for chocolate. I go to Sprout for food. That's it. That's it.
You know what? You just reminded me that recently I've seen, what is it, Spar or the other one? Centra, Londa's Spar, one of them. I was in them and I saw
Dubai bar.
There were 3 or 4 different Dubai bars.
Is it close by?
I don't remember where I saw it, to be honest. I don't remember where it was. Oh, no, I do remember where it was. It was right across the street from Gay Spar.
We will go there tomorrow on our walks. That's perfect.
I think it was Centra, I want to say.
Directly across from the Gay Spar, that's the Centra, yeah.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
I saw them there. I think they're the kind of cheapy ones with, you know, like the yucky chocolate.
Okay, no.
But
Fallon and Burn have the nice ones in at the moment. Fallon and Burn have the nice ones in at the moment. I'm like,
A controversial opinion. I'm not a huge fan of Dubai chocolate bars.
I like them.
I will want to try that Buick or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. They're nice. But yeah, I'll go into Fallon and Burn tomorrow and have a little mooch.
We'll go together. One final. We have a few more minutes. Mm-hmm. We're nearly talking for an hour.
It wouldn't be like us.
Can you imagine? What is something that you're looking forward to?
In what context?
Near future. You can't say sabbatical.
I'm really looking forward to buying loads of nice things from my shares.
Month away is like near future? Oh no, vacuum cleaner started. Let me just turn off the vacuum cleaner. This is what happens when you have a robot home.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to buying nice things. I mean, in today with that skin specialist and stuff like that, and she was talking about the like facial masks and stuff. So I want to buy nice things for myself and just, yeah, treat myself. I've done a lot of work in the last year. I'm finishing my first year of college. I've worked full time the whole time in a very demanding, stressful job. I don't say that lightly. And anyone I tell about my job, all say the same thing. I don't know how you're doing the two at the same time. They're both very hard. And I'm like, yeah. And a sound healing diploma. You know? So I'm like, yeah, go me. That's something I'm doing since I got my diagnosis too. I'm actually giving myself kudos for things instead of being like, it's not enough. I'm like, go me. I'm giving myself credit for things now. And I didn't do that before. Like ever.
That's so good.
Yeah. It's healthy. You know, and when people compliment me and things, I'm like, thank you, I accept it. I don't try to diminish it or like minimize it. I'm like, no, I am fucking cool. Yeah, I am good. I'm great at that. Yeah. And I just leave it at that now and I let it be. You know?
Similar, only I remember that when I was younger, usually you couldn't kind of lift your own tail. You couldn't really talk great about yourself.
Yeah.
But I always wanted people to know what I have done.
Yeah.
Because I was proud of it, you know, and I just wanted to share it. Yeah. So I'm kind of back in that space where if I am very proud of something that I've done, I'm going to share it. I'm going to share the thing that I created just in case nobody knew about it. Because, like, who talks? Nobody talks. If you don't tell people what you're doing,
really bad at that.
Nobody's going to know.
I'm really bad at that.
They're going to know. They're not going to know.
How are they going to know?
Actually not going to know. So I'm kind of in that space now where, you know what? I did this. I'm very proud of it. Yeah. I'm so excited about it. If you're not, that's totally fine. But I just wanted you to know. And that makes me happy.
Good. That's really good. I need to get better at that in work because I do the work, but I don't like, it's like a weird thing about like, I feel like it's really braggy or something when I have to be like, oh, here's this thing I did and I'm amazing. Like, I don't know. Work is a weird one. I'm working on it. I
do agree with that because I'm usually proud of the things that are not really too work related. Well, they're
fun for you to do though.
Exactly. It's the fun thing. And that's our cue to call it a night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was wonderful talking to you.
You too.
And we will see you again in the next one. Thank you for joining in. Look at the camera. Smile. Smile and wave, boys. Have a good night, everyone. Bye. Bye.